Alright guys, Papa Pepper back again. Today I just wanted to talk to you about kind of disconnected interaction. And you could call it kind of like a Facebook mentality. You could call it kind of online interaction. But pretty much what I mean by this is that we've become accustomed to interacting with people who are not right there in front of us. To get me online in July of 2016 was a huge step for me in the first place. I'm not even one who really likes telephones. So I would much rather sit down with somebody, have a real face-to-face conversation and interact that way. Writing letters or using a phone is things that I do and I have done, and then now kind of coming online too. And my first online interaction was really in Steemit, which a lot of people were saying was a lot better than Facebook, and part of that was potentially because there was money involved. But it sounds like there's a pretty toxic environment a lot of times that people interact with anytime they have a disagreement with anyone online in certain settings. I haven't exactly been exposed to all that, but what I have encountered is a number of things that aren't going as well as they could be because people choose to interact at a distance rather than the real person. So this is one reason why I think if people are like struggling in their marriages, a lot of times they'll try a separation. Well, what I've found is that during a separation, you no longer deal with the actual, real, tangible, physical person in front of you. And what they become is kind of however you make them in your mind. And the less time you spend actually interacting with the real person, the more they become whoever they are in your mind. And then when you meet up with the real person again, you're attributing all that stuff, which may or may not be accurate, but a lot of times it's not accurate, that you already have as a preconceived notion at that point about how they are, so that's all you see the real person for. So when we have an opportunity to sit down face to face and actually discuss things, you can see the person's body language, you can see their face, you can hear the inflection in the words that they use and how they speak and interact. And if you're just typing at somebody, not only are you not seeing the person, you're not seeing their real reaction, but there's the tone of the text that can really be misleading as well. I can put an exclamation point at the end of a sentence, and am I being excited or am I kind of shouting it? There's different ways that different things can be read, and then also kind of our frame of reference. I could use a certain word. I once used the word vexed, V-E-X-E-D, which I always considered to mean like troubled or distressed, but I used it and somebody thought I was talking about being like violently angry with them. And I'm like, that's never the way I've ever used that word. So just because they had a different frame of reference for something, it came across very differently. So the thing that I kind of want to point out at this point is if you have an opportunity to actually deal with the real people, please do. And even I know many people who, if you show up at their house, you know what they do? They turn off the television. They turn off the media. They turn off, whatever devices they have so they can actually interact with you. There's a lot of wisdom in that. And if you are interacting at a disconnected way, use wisdom, but then also, look at things from a different point of view so you can potentially understand how other things could be received by someone who's not you, who doesn't know your intent, because the intent does not outweigh the outcome or the effect. If something happens, or whatever you intended doesn't really matter because the way they perceived it had the reaction. So at that point, you're dealing with a whole nother scenario that you never meant to deal with in the first place. So like I said, it's one of the reasons I like going face to face. One of the reasons why I even prefer, just kind of sending out a vlog as opposed to typing a bunch of text, especially if I'm dealing with something real, so that way somebody can, read my body language at least, and at least hear my voice when I say these things. So hopefully that's some good food for thought for some of you guys. It's rough these days, and we're becoming very inhumane, very unhuman in our interactions with one another, and it's easier to fight somebody when they're not really a real person. But you got to remember, there's a real person on the other side of that keyboard, and real people, they have feelings, they have lives, they have struggles, and a lot of times it seems like we're much more willing to dump on people in an email or on some online interaction than we would ever be face to face. So consider those things. I'll talk to you guys next time. Papa out.
As always, I'm Papa Pepper, and I'd like to remind you, don't post for free. If you'd like to be part of a revolution in social media, an economic power to the people where users can actually blog for cryptocurrency, then I'd recommend that you check out Steemit.com and join the revolution. Papa out.